I'll wait for everybody. Hey, Ender. I hope so. I didn't do anything to end the stream. It just fucking ended. Didn't give me any warning. It just fucking stopped. Fuck. Shit's been goofy today. It's like I try and restart the stream, and then my Streamlabs screen would just go blank when I went live. It's like totally fucked up. I'm going to wait till a couple more people come in if they do. Sorry about that. Hey, Cygnus. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Just technical issues.
Spec in an infinite expanding universe. And I think that's such a sad way to go through life.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nihilistic point of view, really, isn't it?
Sorry, man.
Yeah. Like, we're here in futility.
I tried to get it started back up as quick as possible, but it kept doing it over and over again.
But by chance, by luck, it just happened, sort of thing. Like you say, no purpose. When indeed there's certainly a purpose. Indeed, there is.
Ordinary collection of galaxies is just hanging there, totally without any purpose whatsoever. I think that's rather grand, frankly, and rather inspiring. So when you ask questions for which there is no evidence, such as that one, what is the purpose of the universe, what is the nature of the afterlife, and all that sort of
people that ask what the purpose of the universe is want you to tell them it's so that you can be at the center of it.
thing. Science need not trouble to try to answer them because they're nonsense questions. Science deals with real questions for which...
Sorry?
They're not nonsense questions, though. From a scientific point of view, yes, but they're not nonsense questions, in general. They're questions that drive people, what, why, what we are for, what's the purpose, so they're not nonsense questions.
Right, and if you're asking those dumb fucking questions to a scientist, it's a dumb fucking question. It's a meaningless question.
Maybe from a scientific point of view, it might be, but yeah, in general, no.
Is evidence.
So if I were to go up to a priest, like in the middle of his sermon, and say, "What shoe should I buy tomorrow?" Would that be a legit question to ask a priest? No, it'd be a meaningless fucking question.
Some of these are very deep, and let's not hide them under a bushel. I think one major question is, why is there something rather than nothing? It certainly seems as though there is something, and we presume that before there was something, there was nothing. So it seems to be a real question, and science has as its objective an attempt to answer that kind of question. Another deep question, of course, is the nature of consciousness and all the attributes of consciousness. We appear to have consciousness. There is evidence that
we appear to have consciousness.
Yeah, I mean...
Yes, we appear to have consciousness.
Wow. There's no doubt about it, Yeah.
How do you know? How do you know you have consciousness?
Can you explain what was before the Big Bang?
He said nothing. Like, nothing in creating something, it just makes no logical sense whatsoever.
And he would call our side grim.
Right.
Like, but how is his side not like the grimmest you get? Like, no purpose, no real purpose in anything.
That's life, man. That's life. Not everything has a purpose. Not everything has a purpose.
Something, and then first there was nothing, and then there was something.
Hey, Lindsay. Yeah, I know. 4 times the charm.
How can that actually happen? That's just ridiculous to even think about.
And so, I mean, has he raised any, real questions as far as what he considers scientific?
I think he's just on his intro right now, right? This is just the introduction.
That's what he's trying to
explain. Because he would call our side, you can just dismiss it.
Yeah, but that's what he's trying to explain now, though.
Okay.
When he's like trying to say, how the science is compared, you know what I mean? But not that I agree with him, but he's taken it from a naturalistic point of view, and he's kind of showing that he's God is science.
No, science isn't a god, dipshit. Again, why are you using religion as an insult?
Right.
That's practically just it.
It's his belief.
His belief, yeah.
Right, that he calls evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Evidence is evidence. Evidence is evidence. You don't call something evidence. It is or it isn't.
For science to tackle that. And by consciousness, I mean all the attributes of consciousness, including morality. And so those are real questions. Those are the questions.
And what's your so-called evidence for a dome? There, Flatzoid. What's your evidence? This being able to breathe. That's your evidence. Okay.
That science can answer. And there is no doubt in my mind that over the past, let's say, 300 years, that science has done its job seriously. That is, collecting evidence, setting it in a network of concepts, and seeing the way that they are mutually supportive. I think there's no doubt that over 300 years we have made extraordinary progress, and there is no reason other than pessimism to expect that science will grind to a halt and not answer all the real great questions of existence.
Thank you very much. So an emphatic yes to the idea that in principle science can explain everything that's worth explaining in that sense. So John, same question to you. Can science explain everything?
Well, obviously not. Brexit, for example.
Good answer. Good answer.
There we go.
Good answer.
That's a comical response, but I have actually two more answers to the question. You're going to be surprised at how much I agree with Peter, because the definition of science he offered us, that is collecting evidence, making observations, in fact in his book on being, he reduces it beautifully to making observations and comparing notes. If that's what we mean by science.
That's weird, because this religious guy, the guy that you're idolizing right now, hasn't once called what the other guy does pseudoscience. Isn't that weird? That you're the only dumb motherfuckers that are doing that?
Science, and it's the old meaning of science before the 19th century, then of course science can explain everything, because the very word explanation means making evidence-based observations and notes. So my short answer is, if we accept Peter's first definition, then I agree with him entirely. Science by definition explains everything. But of course, the meaning of the word science has changed in England, but not on the continent. In German, Wissenschaft covers the humanities and the natural sciences. And when people these days say science can explain everything, they're not referring simply to making observations and comparing notes at all. For instance, that would apply to any historical or forensic examination. And my faith as a Christian is based precisely on the kind of scientific reasoning that Peter has set forward to us. The main issue, I think,
No, it isn't. No, it isn't, dude. No, it isn't.
discussion today is not whether that kind of evidence-based thinking and observation can come to every conclusion. Let me just say, by the way, that from the Christian perspective, Luke, the writer of the third gospel, tells us that that is exactly what his method was. He consulted people, he made observations, and then he put them together. So,
yep, that's it. That's exactly by some testimonials.
Yep, absolutely.
Testimonials aren't evidence, dumb fuck. Testimonials are hearsay. Testimonials aren't even really permitted in a court of law. If it's hearsay.
John is actually doing a really good job.
Very good.
Yeah, he always does a very good job.
And he's right. You would have to include history in that definition of science.
Yes.
Right. There's no historical evidence for the Bible. There's no historical evidence for Christianity, dude, for resurrection.
Was the case. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But that's why I say I really did like Mr. John Lennox, because he always has a way of explaining a thing in a very complicated way, very basically for everybody to understand.
Yeah, in layman's terms, absolutely.
So, yeah, he breaks it down very layman term, but he explains a complicated thing in a very simple manner, like I said, layman term, so everybody can understand what his argument is. And that's, I think,
yes, that's important for indoctrination, is to reach the masses. If you can't explain so the simple, gullible people can understand it, yeah, your indoctrination doesn't work as well.
The talent he had, for sure. But you can be ruthless sometimes as well when you debates. If you ever go watch some of these debates, you can take some jabs.
We'll call that science one. What is, of course, at stake today is the question: can the natural sciences answer every question?
Nope.
And there, I think,
yes, every natural science question, yes, it can answer all questions about nature.
that is simply not the case. The Nobel Prize winner Peter Medawar, many years ago, he wrote a very interesting book on the limits of science. And he said, we do science a disservice, natural science, if we think it can address any questions. And every question. And he referred to the basic questions of Karl Popper, the questions of a child. Where do I come from? Where am I going? What is the meaning of life? Natural science doesn't answer.
Those aren't scientific questions. Those are metaphysical questions.
answer questions like that. And Medawar added it is to religion, philosophy, and so on.
Notice how he said that science explains everything that's worth explaining, that's worth knowing. How did I get here is not really worth knowing to science.
That we must go to answer those questions. I think science is immensely powerful. It is immensely exciting, and it uncovers a vast amount about our universe. But I have a problem by going too far. I'm a mathematician.
Yes, you have a problem because you are a gullible religious dipshit. That's your problem.
And I'm rather interested in logic. And you know, if we say that science can explain everything, or science is the only way to truth, as it's often put, well, that is not a statement of science.
Yes, everything. Metaphysical is not thing. Metaphysical is made up thing.
It's a statement of belief.
Imaginary thing.
And so if it's
You hit the
Magic thing.
nail on the head. It's a statement of belief.
Right.
Nailed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then it's become pseudoscience. So that's exactly what he's pointing out. That's very, very good. I mean, they haven't really got into the debate yet, and he's kind of already demolishing him.
Mm-hmm.
true, it's false.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I coughed. I didn't say anything. I coughed. Sorry.
Maybe it's too early in the evening for logic like that, but there's a huge logical problem. So, to sum up my...
Yeah, there is a huge logical problem. Dumb motherfuckers like this try to use logic to make God seem real. It won't work. You can't logic your way into believing magic, dude.
My position, science is powerful. Its methodologies are extremely important also in the sphere of history, forensic science, and in the sphere of religion. But I'm going to be careful here, because Peter is right very often in his critique of superstition, of mythology, and nonsense. And science...
Right, that's what Christianity is. Superstition, mythology, and nonsense.
has helped to clear away some of the nonsensical things that sometimes religious people profess. But what really makes me, in one sense, very much in favor of the Christian faith is that from the very start it claims to be evidence-based. And the central...
Amen.
No, religion isn't evidence-based. You fucking liar. My God, what a fucking liar. Why are Christians such liars?
Yeah. Well, even faith, it's evidence of things unseen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things
That's not life. Evidence of things unseen. There's nothing real that's unseen. Well, air is real, but you know what I'm saying.
so far, so I can't remember exactly how it goes in Hebrews.
But it is-
or Hebrews 11. Hebrews
But
11.
it's definitely evidence-based. I mean,
Yeah.
even outside...
No, it's not. It fucking isn't. There's no evidence for the Christian religion, for anything that Christianity professes.
the Bible, there's so much evidence showing Jesus lived and died and got resurrected again.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. There's stories. There's hearsay, but there's no fucking evidence that zombies are real.
And that's even outside of the Bible. So, the
No,
evidence is...
there isn't. Okay, show us one citation outside of the Bible that says that a human can be resurrected after rotting in a grave for 3 days. Show us that.
very, very clear.
Yeah.
piece of evidence is, of course, as you...
See, outside of the Bible would be science. So you have science and you have the Bible. You have a religion. And there's nothing outside the Bible, outside of religion, that is going to tell you that a human can reanimate after being dead for 3 fucking days.
You probably know the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So I believe in Peter's methodology. I use it all the time. But somehow he feels that...
But not on the resurrection of Christ. You didn't use it on that, did you?
a Christian like me doesn't use that methodology within my own Christian faith. Finally,
Why? You said it's evidence-based, right? So this guy's admitting that there's no evidence for it. If there was evidence, he could use the scientific method to prove his point. But he can't.
the point, I think explanation, can science explain everything? We need to tease out what we mean by the word explanation. For example, the law of gravity doesn't explain gravity. It tells, as Newton realized, it tells us wonderful mathematics that we can calculate the way in which heavy bodies move in relationship to one another. But even when we say science explains, often it doesn't explain comprehensively.
Okay, what does the Bible say about gravity? What does the Bible say about? What does God say about gravity? Fucking nothing? Not even one fucking mention of it? Huh. Isn't that weird?
See, you just heard it. Science does
Looks-
explain gravity, guys.
Yeah, this guy's a religious kook. You're going to listen to what he says? Of course you are. What am I saying?
You'd love to see what evidence, Luca.
But you see,
That's what
but you
happened.
see, you just told us science doesn't explain even gravity comprehensively. It can.
Yeah.
This dipshit thinks that there's evidence for zombies. That's what he's. Why do you take what he says as with any fucking grain of salt?
It can explain, a path taken, for instance, by two bodies and stuff. But that's it. It doesn't actually give an explanation of what gravity is, how it works, or anything.
Yeah.
It just makes a whole bunch
absolutely.
of assumptions based on belief.
Based on testing and observation and experiments. You dumb motherfucking liar.
I just want to throw a very simple analogy into this, which I find quite useful. About boiling water. How would you explain boiling water? Well, you can explain it by talking about heat conduction and agitation of molecules of water. You can also say the water's boiling because I like a cup of tea. Now, those two explanations are very different. They don't conflict. They complement. One is a scientific explanation, natural scientific, but the other is an explanation in terms of the intention and purposes of an agent. And Peter said quite clearly that science doesn't go in for that kind of purpose. But that doesn't mean that kind of purpose doesn't exist. In fact, people have been enjoying tea for millennia before they knew anything about the theory of heat in physics. So what I want to say is this. The God explanation is different from the science explanation. God no more competes with science as an explanation of the universe than Henry Ford competes with physics as an explanation of the motor car.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, true. But motor cars are real. Motor cars are real. Henry Ford was real. God isn't. Hey, George.
Good way of breaking it down.
Brilliant, exactly, brilliant way of putting it. Like, science doesn't tell it all, There's something else beyond science, like spiritual, It's great.
No, there isn't anything beyond science.
It's great.
Great introduction.
Anything that's metaphysical is not real. Metaphysical definition. And of course, it isn't gonna fucking listen to my voice. Metaphysical definition. Of or relating to metaphysics, of or relating to the transcendent, or to a reality beyond what is perceptible to the senses. Supernatural, theoretical, not real.
Now they're going to get into the
Statements,
debate.
from both of you. I'm sure there's lots you want to respond to there. Peter, where do you want to begin?
Well, there's so much nonsense to hack away from.
This may be the phrase of the evening. Yes.
Yeah, let's go to what you called the core of your approach.
Motherfucker, am I off again? Oh, my fucking internet keeps dying. Motherfucker!
which is the resurrection of Jesus.
Are we still here? The internet keeps fucking me up, man. Yeah, I just turned the PC on. Just turned it on. I mean, this is what I did right after I turned my PC on. Hey, biggest doggus. Hey, U.S. editor. We'll try and go from here. I have no idea what we've missed.
Jesus. Never happened. I mean...
What?
Well,
Well, go back a little bit.
Explanation is different from the science explanation. God no more competes with science as an explanation of the universe than Henry Ford competes with physics as an explanation of the motor car.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Well, all of a sudden it'll just say no signal. Fucking YouTube is so fucked.
Good way of breaking it down.
brilliant, exactly, brilliant way of putting it. Like, science doesn't tell it all, you know. There's something else beyond science, like spiritual, you know. It's great, it's great.
Great introduction.
Now we're going to get into debate.
From both of you. I'm sure there's lots you want to respond to there. Peter, where do you want to begin?
Well, there's so much nonsense to hack a word.
This may be the phrase of the
come
evening. Yes.
Yeah, let's go to what you called the core of your approach, which is the resurrection of Jesus. Never happened. I mean,
What?
Well, prove it.
Ooh,
Prove
you're making
that
a big
happened.
claim there.
Prove it. People can't die and come back to life. People can't die. Well, people can die on the operating table, but people can't die, rot in a grave for 3 days, and then come back to life. That never, ever can happen. That's a scientific impossibility.
You know,
Very big thing.
Well, that's an assertion, Peter. What about
Say
some
that to his
evidence?
face.
well,
sorry?
Say that to his face.
You just did.
Yeah.
what about some evidence that it did happen, other than people who are writing Gospels of 80 years later than the event that they purport to
It
be
weren't all
talking
80
about?
years ago.
No, of course it didn't happen. How could it happen? And science, I think, could even go so far as saying it simply could not happen. When you've got a dead body, it's decaying straight away. There's no way that it's going to reconstitute in some way. It's absurd. And I accept that it is the foundation of Christian faith. That doesn't mean to say that it's true.
But you see, that's what makes it a miracle. The decomposing body came back to life. I mean,
That's what makes it fake, and there's no such thing as miracles. I like a while back, The Onion had a headline on their fake paper that said, "Couple witnesses the miracle of birth for the 17 billionth time in history." There's no such thing as miracles, Flatzoid. Certainly no one can raise from the fucking dead, you moron.
look when Jesus went and he raised Lazarus from the dead. He was already decomposing.
That never fucking happened, Flatzoid. That never ever fucking happened.
Right, right.
Now,
He was saying
science
about
can't
it.
explain this. Science can't explain, okay, how did this person get risen from the dead after he's decomposing?
Because it never fucking happened.
There is no answer to that through science. But through
Right.
God, very easy to explain.
Absolutely, absolutely. He was
Yeah, with magic. Yeah, magic. Magic isn't real, Flatzoid.
saying about just in the books, and they were written 80 years after the fact. Yeah, maybe some were, but some were written like 30, 40 years after. You know, he took like the extreme end of it. You know?
Well, it's, of course he took it. It's basically saying, oh, it never happened.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't. It never happened.
He can't prove that.
Yes, we can. We can prove that.
And so
Oh, look,
let's
Mick Toon is not a
something
Christian.
that simply has no evidence.
Yes, MC Toon is a Christian. You're not. See, MC Toon exhibits all the attributes of Christianity. You don't.
Whatsoever of any credible
Before we
nature.
dismiss it, let's hear a response from John, because obviously this is an important issue. What counts as evidence and what
Yeah,
are the
and
assumptions
indeed,
we make?
I suppose you would argue that science cannot explain the resurrection.
Well, let's
I wouldn't quite argue that way. I would say that science cannot forbid a resurrection. Because you see, science per se
Good way. Yeah, science cannot forbid resurrection. Just because your science can't explain it doesn't mean it's not possible.
That's right.
Science
That's
is very
it.
limited as well. I mean, people have to understand.
Actually, science can forbid a resurrection because it's physically impossible for someone to resurrect after 3 fucking days, dude.
The science is only based on nature, on natural laws. And if someone stands up from the dead or getting resurrected, that is supernatural.
Right, and that doesn't happen. The supernatural isn't real. You've said it yourself, Flatzoid. The supernatural is outside of reality.
So it's almost like a category error to try and claim,
Well,
He loves that phrase category error, doesn't he? He loves that. He doesn't know what it means, but he loves it.
yeah.
no, sorry, no, it's evening. Sorry, I thought you finished.
Well, but with Peter, he wants his beliefs to be accepted as scientific evidence, and then he wants to dismiss other beliefs as no evidence at all.
Right, because there is no evidence for God, and there's all the evidence for a non-God. Yeah. Science has evidence, religion doesn't. And you not understanding this is scary, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Very
say,
lopsided.
I wouldn't say between a Christian or a scientist.
Leads on discovering the regularities to which nature works and has done a very impressive job. And the fact that we know that dead bodies don't normally rise, that is a law of nature in that sense, means that we recognize something very special happen if it did.
I just want to point out to Mad Mac, yes, although we do have my glasses back on my face. Every time I move, it goes on someone else's face. Although the Bible says we have to live by faith, walk by faith.
Ah, I just noticed that. When he moves, they snap to this face.
Back on my face. Every time I move, it goes on someone else's face. Although the Bible says we have to live by faith, walk by faith and not by sight, 100% agree. There is a lot of evidence for Jesus' resurrection.
No, there isn't. Not one single fucking bit, man.
Outside of the Bible too. So, if we
Where is there scientific evidence outside of the Bible for Jesus' resurrection? You fucking liar.
look at the fact that the disciples died gruesome deaths for the testimony of Jesus.
That's not evidence, dipshit. That's not evidence. You don't know what evidence is.
Risen from the dead. There's reports from people like Josephus and so forth where they actually talk about people that is interviewed that claim to have seen Jesus after he has risen from the dead, after crucifixion.
And that's not evidence. That's not evidence. Let's see. Is hearsay evidence? You fucking motherfucker. Is hearsay evidence? Huh. Yes, hearsay is a type of statement, but generally inadmissible as evidence in court because it's an out-of-court statement offered to provide the truth of the matter asserted, lacking the safeguards of truth, oath, cross-examination, demeanor. However, hearsay can become admissible if it falls under recognized exceptions, such as excited utterances, business records, or statements against interest, making it a complex rule with many nuances. So, yeah, just a book saying that or someone saying that they had an interview with someone is not evidence, dipshit.
Fiction and died. So, yeah, there's a lot of evidence for this. If you want evidence, you'll just have to go and look for it. That's all. You can't just expect it to fall on your lap.
Hey, Bob Nodell's gyroscope.
The unfortunate problem is with a lot of the atheists, they choose to roll, they ignore it and say it doesn't exist.
Happen. Now, there are two issues here. First of all, there's the
See, he doesn't even know what evidence is, but yet he thinks he can argue against science. That's how ridiculous this piece of shit is.
principal one, which always ends up in talking about David Hume, who said that miracles are violations of the laws of nature. And I do not believe they are. That's point number one, and I can go into that if you like.
Why? Miracles are metaphysical. They're not nature. They're outside of nature.
Do you want me to?
Do you want to believe? Well, we might as well. Since you
Yes, well, you better define a miracle. I think a miracle is defined as something that is against the laws of nature.
But I don't define it like that at all. A miracle, miraculum in Latin simply means something to be wondered at, but we're talking about something supernatural. Now, it seems to be very clear.
Do we speak Latin? Do we speak Latin? No, we don't. Then why are you talking about Latin roots?
That when Hume said miracles violate the laws of nature, he was really not understanding. And the great interpreter Anthony Flew of David Hume.
No.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think you were going to object to the raising of Anthony Flew.
Oh, well, I'm not raised Anthony
Let's get
Flew.
back to raising
He has
Flew.
died and hasn't risen. I do see that point. But the point is this. C.S. Lewis long ago told a little analogy. If I stay in a hotel tonight, put £100 in a drawer, and do the same tomorrow night, there are £200 in it. 1 + 1 = 2. If on the third morning I find 50 quid, what do I say? That the laws of arithmetic have been broken or the laws of England? Clearly, I say the laws of England have been broken. How do I know? Because the laws of arithmetic have not been broken. It's our recognizing of what normally happens that helps us to see an exception. Now, if I were claiming that the body of Jesus rose from the dead by processes, natural processes going on in the grave 5 minutes before we happened, yes, that would be wrong. But
Yep. Exactly, because that would be based on the scientific method.
So you just make up shit and call it metaphysical. Okay.
But Jesus' resurrection, death and resurrection, is not scientific. It's supernatural.
Then there's no evidence for it. There's no evidence for it, man. Jesus
So it's a very good way of
Christ.
describing it. Because he
People are
has to be
fucking
distinct,
something,
give
aren't
a
they?
distinction between the two and what actual natural science pertains to. So I think he's doing well on that front. Oh, sorry, guys, I'm dying of heat. Sure.
I thought you had a headache or something. It looks like you got a headache.
No, sorry, it's insane. It was like 48 degrees yesterday.
Wow.
Dying of heat. Like I just can't get like a heat wave going on at the moment.
I'm not claiming that. What Christians claim is that the God that created the universe and built the regularities
Pure
into it
speculation.
is capable...
Pure speculation.
Wait a minute. No, this
It's not worth
is
listening
this
to.
isn't speculation. Well,
Let's listen to Anthony Flew.
Peter, it's dead easy to say it's not worth listening to. You tempt me to say that about some of the things you say, but I'm not
Sorry.
going to do that. Because it seems to me it's very important to listen to what Christianity claims before you judge it. And what is claimed is the God who creates the universe and sustains it is not subject to laws as if they were laws of a land. He set up the regularities.
So why are you believing in it? It's fake. He's just admitting it's fake. It's not real. Why are you clapping? He's just destroyed you. He's just destroyed his own argument.
And this is the same thing we usually say, though. God is not bound by natural laws. He created the natural laws. It's the same as saying if someone built a computer and you
Then he's not real. He's not real. Love it.
create a code for the computer, you're not bound by that computer code. You created it.
Yeah, if you write the code and you run the code, you're bound by the fucking code. What are you talking about? Now you don't understand how computers work.
You're outside of that system. So, and this is the problem we see with atheists. They can't distinguish the fact that God would be an outside agent.
No, we know he's an outside. We know he's not real. Atheists have no problem with knowing that God isn't real.
Doesn't need to conform to the naturalistic worldview. He's above that naturalistic worldview because he created the nature and the rules that are governing the nature. Why should he be bound by those laws?
And he can feed
So gullible.
Well, of
a
course
new
he ain't.
event.
Yeah.
So fucking gullible.
I was just saying, of course he ain't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and guys, when I say 48 degrees today Celsius, it was my spray booth. Okay, it was about 42 degrees Celsius today. Okay, yes, we're gone.
Well, it'll start turning for you. It's gonna start breaking into fall for you soon.
Yeah, sometimes.
That should-
Okay, let's see.
Into them. And the claim is, and with this I finish, that God raised Christ from the dead by an input of colossal power.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, you've got it, Peter, in one.
Yeah, it was Jesus.
No, I mean, this
Well,
is,
that is the claim at the end of the day.
but, I mean, this is, everyone knows here that's nonsense. What you're inventing is an agent who can do anything he likes, he or she likes. That's what you have to say these days. And so
No, it's not he or she. It's he. God is a boy's name.
It is the laziest way of accounting for observations, sometimes observations that were never actually made. Religious.
Yeah, it's lazy. Yeah, it's a lazy way of dealing with observations, like water that looks flat. It's lazy.
Explanations which resort to God did it are intellectually lazy. I won't use a stronger term than that, but I do think that they are lazy. Because, I mean, what does it mean as an explanation? You lie there saying, oh, God did it, and everyone says, oh, I understand now. Religious explanations are easy to accept by the unthinking.
Yep. Religious explanations are easy to accept by the unthinking. Fucking great. Best quote of the day.
Has you ever thought that maybe the simplest explanations are usually the true explanation?
Yeah. But saying that a invisible God did it is not a simple explanation. That's a cop-out. That's not an explanation.
Yeah.
Just because something is a simple explanation doesn't exactly make it lazy and doesn't make it false either. So he's sitting on
Yeah, it does. It most certainly does.
a false premise here by saying, well, it's a lazy way of thinking God did it, so therefore it's not true. That's a fallacy in itself.
Of course.
Because that doesn't make it false just because it is a simple explanation. And that simple explanation is true because God did make it. God is not bound by the natural.
Prove it. Prove it, motherfucker. You keep saying he did, but prove it.
We keep bringing this up to the atheists because their naturalistic worldview does violate the laws of nature, the first and second laws of thermodynamics.
No, it doesn't. See, you don't understand. You don't even know what a fucking experiment is, man. You've never conducted an experiment in your miserable fucking life.
There's no way around it.
It's like, oh yeah, we didn't see God in a creation. Sure. But did they see the Big Bang?
Yep.
No.
No, but we have evidence for it. We have evidence for it.
Like, is there even any real scientific proof for it? No.
No, there's evidence for it. Again, there's no such thing as scientific proof.
No, none.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Science is difficult to accept because it involves a lot of thought. You really have to tease out the processes by which an event occurs. You can't simply say, and God did it. You've got to go through, in biology, you delve down into, if you like, the chemistry of the organism. In chemistry, you delve down into the physics of the underlying processes. And, I accept, maybe in physics, you have to delve down into the underlying mathematical fabric of whatever I mean by that. It's jolly hard work, and you've got to work on it. But it's more satisfying when...
I mean, I'm convinced that if it wasn't for religion, we'd have flying cars and flying people. We'd have anti-gravity by now. If religion didn't go in and fuck up science for centuries.
When you get to the end of an explanation, than that extraordinarily lazy way of pretending to explain by saying, and abracadabra, God did it. I mean, that is intellectually corrupt.
Okay.
But, Peter, that's confusing.
Absolutely. It's intellectually corrupt.
Two different kinds of explanations.
Yes, indeed.
If you were to say about a motor car, Henry Ford did it, and that's all you had to say, then I would agree with you. But the point is,
But the point is, Henry Ford was a real person. God isn't. There's records of Henry Ford's work on the motor car. There's no evidence for God doing anything.
I sit here and read your books and explaining chemistry and all this kind of thing. I say, this is wonderful. This is not contradicting the God explanation, because the God explanation is saying that you, as a chemist, only have a universe to study because God created it in the first place. But he's not competing. In fact,
that's fucking ignorant, dude. That's fucking ignorant.
Interestingly, and this has always been a bit of a mandate.
So we can only do science that detests and abhors a unfalsifiable narrative because of an unfalsifiable narrative? Fuck off, old man.
Very early chapters of Genesis, God commands human beings to name the animals. He starts off taxonomy, which is the basic intellectual discipline. In other words, he said, you go and do science, and you'll find it utterly fascinating. So,
naming animals isn't science, dude. That's naming animals. Science is studying those animals. studying what makes those animals unique and then naming them by their uniqueness. God, what a fucking dumbass.
I think you're arguing at a straw god and not a straw man there.
Or another straw man. Nice. Okay.
That's a good way of putting it.
Oh, and the sheep just cackle along with him, don't they?
I like this dude.
Oh, yeah. But you can see he's getting under his skin a bit. He seems very agitated. I don't know if you guys are realizing that.
I've seen it from the start. Like, as soon as he passed it over to him, he says, well, yeah, there's so much nonsense there. You know, he was annoyed from the start.
No, he doesn't look agitated. You think he does because you think this guy is saying things that are profound, and he's not. He's just making excuses.
Peter is guilty of the very things he's accusing Christianity of.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
He's intellectually lazy as far as just saying, oh, things were created because of a Big Bang, which has never been demonstrated or reproduced. And
Right, creation has never been demonstrated or reproduced. But you'll believe it 100%, right?
real life.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but we've studied what the universe looks like now. We've studied how the universe has progressed since we've had science and the ability to do so, and we can surmise that if it goes out, it had to have started someplace. So yes, there is science behind the Big Bang. There's absolutely zero science for creation.
Never. Never will be. Because it's not truth.
That's right.
You don't know whether God
That's right. More lotion? More lotion? More lotion, Flatside? You want some more lotion, PJ?
was starting off science. He might have got so bored with his creation that he wanted to amuse them.
So who's speculating now?
Yeah, I am.
Yes. Okay.
I think any speculation that uses the word God is intellectually corrupt.
I mean,
But this is absurd.
There is no God.
Can I-
That is absurd. How can you be intellectually corrupt just because you use God?
Because God is not intellectual. It's philosophical. It's not real. To say anything scientifically using God is intellectually dishonest, corrupt.
How does it make it intellectually corrupt?
But you don't think so because you're a lying piece of shit, Flatzoid. You're a lying motherfucker.
I don't know.
So it's something I don't know.
That's that's a big long list, buddy.
Well, it seems like he's it just seems like he's posturing to act like because we take that route, it is intellectually empty.
Exactly.
Because you have to think more
No, he said intellectually corrupt.
to be like him. Like, no, you just have to stretch your faith more, Mr. Peter.
Exactly.
Stretch your faith more? Science doesn't use faith, man. Science is evidence-based.
Okay.
Or Mr. Atkins, yeah.
So have faith in imaginary shit? Fuck off.
There is not one jot of evidence for God.
Oh, I see.
In
Not
laser-
today.
Not one jot of evidence.
No, there isn't. Not one.
Ooh, this is where John is going to now obliterate him.
Is there evidence for God?
Okay, so let me just to summarise.
Yes,
lazy,
please.
corrupt, and any mention of God is simply going down that path. Why for you is that not the kind of lazy, corrupt explanations you're
Well,
making?
first of all, take science itself. Why am I passionate about science? Why do I believe science can be done? Well, because I believe that in some way the human mind in here has access to the natural world out there. Now, why do I believe that? And sometimes I ask my atheist friends, I've never asked Peter this, but so he's excused, but I have asked many of them. I said, what do you do science with? And they say and they're about to say mind, when they realize it's not politically correct to say mind. They say my brain. And I say, tell me about your brain.
Why is it not politically correct to say mind? What the fuck are you talking about?
And one man who's rather famous, he said to me, do you want the really short answer? I said, sure. My brain's the end product of a mindless, unguided process. So I looked at
One oxymoron. Think about it.
No, he's pretty much right.
I use my brain, which is guided by an unguided nothing. It's just processes, chemical process that just happens. And that's
Yeah?
what I use.
Yeah, why are you trusting the brain if that's what it came from?
Yeah. it's quite ridiculous if you think about it.
Yeah.
him and smiled and said, and you trust it? And then I asked this question, which I've asked many times. Suppose you knew your computer was the end product of a mindless, unguided process. Would you trust it? And I've always had the answer no. And then I say, I see you have a problem. In other words, your atheist materialist stance undermines my trust in the rationality I need to do science. Now, if you flip the coin, modern science exploded in the 16th and 17th centuries, and its pioneers, Galileo, Kepler, Newton, Clark.
It's like saying, well, if there's a car that gets assembled and I don't know who assembled it, can I trust the car? It was created by some unguided process. That's what I think. Can I trust that car? Can I get it and go to the store in it? Yeah, I can. The unguided process is evolution.
Maxwell, and so
You
on.
see, when your brain evolves, then you can trust it.
We're all believers in God, most of them
This guy's just a fucking liar.
Christian. And the point is, it was their belief in God that didn't hinder their science. It was the motor that drove it. So for two reasons. One, the legitimizing of doing science at all is one of the reasons I believe in God. God as an explanation makes...
So that's just a form of invincible ignorance. Everything an atheist believes is religious based. That's just invincible ignorance.
more sense. It has explanatory power. The atheist explanation, as even some atheists like Thomas Nagel these days are beginning to see, undermines confidence and rationality.
So John's argument essentially then, Peter, that the very fact we can do science points to a rational logic behind you.
Amen. Exactly. And that's why that's saying...
Yes, a logical, rational mind that is evolved over billions of years. Yeah. No God involved.
Is at the bottom of every atheist cup, they find God.
Vicky just said that.
Oh, isn't that cute? And at the top of every mountain, at the pinnacle of man's reasoning, we're going to climb up there and find Christians having a dinner party. Fuck off.
That guy spoke in the middle sounds like Jeremy Kyle. He's a British talk show host, and he got his show's off the air now. But I just heard him talk that, and he does. She's absolutely right. He really, really does sound like Jeremy Kyle. Sorry about
I don't
that.
know who that is, sir.
There was a big scandal with him. Somebody went on his show. He did a lie detector on them.
Hey, did you see a squirrel, PJ? Did you see a squirrel?
It came back that he was lying, and in real life he wasn't lying, and he ended up doing away with himself because of it.
Oh, that's
so he
bad.
shook the taking down. Yeah.
Universe
Yeah.
behind our ability to understand it that is I suppose, fits better with the idea of a God
Yeah, that's
behind
what
a
I'm
mind,
saying.
rather than the idea that this all is by chance, it's a random
Yeah,
accident.
for lazy minds, that's certainly true. The trouble is that the philosophers are pessimists, basically, because they get paid to doubt, and they doubt the capacity of human understanding. Scientists are optimists. They think that given time, given collaboration, hugely important, they will arrive at explanations that do not require the insertion of words like God. God is no more than a word, frankly, which is used to describe.
It's a title.
Wow, it's no more than a.
Wait, what did he say? Hold on a second.
Vicky just said that guy spoke in the middle sounds like Jeremy Kyle. He's a British talk show host, and he got his show's off the air now. But I just heard him talk that, and he does. She's absolutely right. He really, really does sound like Jeremy Kyle. Sorry about
I don't know who
that.
that is, sir.
There was a big scandal with him. Somebody went on his show. He did a lie detector on them. It came back that he was lying, and in real life he wasn't lying, and he ended up doing away with himself because of it.
Oh, that's
so he
bad.
shook the taking down. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he said Jeremy Kyle committed suicide.
Yeah.
Or did he think about wanking? Is that why he committed suicide?
Yeah.
Behind our ability to understand it that is I suppose, fits better with the idea of a God
Yeah, that's
behind
what
a
I'm
mind,
saying.
rather than the idea that this all is by chance, it's a random
Yeah,
accident.
for lazy minds, that's certainly true. The trouble is that the philosophers are pessimists, basically, because they get paid to doubt, and they doubt the capacity of human understanding. Scientists are optimists. They think that given time, given collaboration, hugely important, they will arrive at explanations that do not require the insertion of words like God. God is no more than a word, frankly, which is used to describe.
It's a title.
Wow, it's no more than a word.
It's a title. God is a title, and yes, it's It's a title of His Magnificence, glory. But you see, he's trying to downplay.
Yes, I'm a god. I told the wind to die down, and it did.
How can I put it? He's trying to downplay everything that's got to. I don't know. Have you actually heard an argument from him yet?
No.
I haven't. All I'm hearing is no one can use God. If you use God, you're just stupid. It's a lazy way of thinking. But I haven't seen him actually give a reason why you can't use God.
Oh, right. No, it's like earlier he was like, oh, science addresses real questions, but they get to dismiss ours. But yet he hasn't brought a real question that he heralds or claims to address.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
He's been doing that the entire time, liar.
Like show me this question, please. Oh, go ahead.
But I mean, he's making a whole bunch of statements, but he's not really backing them up with claims. He's not giving an actual distinct reason why you can't use God. I mean, just saying, oh, every time you use God, it's just a lazy way of thinking. That's not an argument.
No.
Yeah, it is. And he gives the reason why it's a lazy argument. You haven't been listening, Fkatzoid.
No, that's incredulity coming from your side. His side, and to reduce God to just a word is beyond a joke. I mean, that's his way of trying to mock God.
Yeah. It's kind of making him into a Koran. They're angry, but they don't know why they're angry.
Right.
To comprehend something.
Oh, go ahead.
So theologians obfuscate. We've heard that in good measure this evening, if I may say so. While theologians obfuscate, scientists enumerate. And we are showing that
Never had it said that way before.
Obfuscate.
I've never had it said that way before.
Me neither.
Obfuscate.
Obfuscate. We should say that from now on. Don't you go and obfuscate.
Obfuscate.
Evolution, only through evolution, we have developed brains which are capable of extraordinary understanding. Now, if I can take a moment just to wrap a warning
this
around
is just
that at the
desperate.
moment. Do we have brains that are big enough to understand absolutely everything? And it's a legitimate question. Or are we like a dog in a room, which a dog could not understand classical physics, although we humans think we can understand classical physics. But we have to confront the possibility that our brains are not strong enough to understand absolutely everything. And I think we might even be...
I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
moving
Absolutely.
towards
He must have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, our brains, yeah. Idiots can believe in anything.
Well, I was just going to say, he must have a small brain because he don't understand that God, nobody will ever be smarter than God. He thinks that computers, that science is like that man is God. They know all the answers. That's what we're playing out is that they know all the answers. Science knows all the answers. They have all the answers. They're God, basically.
It's a form of making themselves their own gods.
Yeah.
Whereas Scripture will tell us, even the foolishness of God is greater than all human wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Who says that? Religious people? Gullible fucks like you?
As if God really has foolishness, but I'm pretty sure Paul was just being endearing.
But there's different kinds of understanding, as John was saying, but of a different kind from what John was saying. Take quantum mechanics. You can formulate equations in quantum mechanics and solve them to an extraordinary degree of precision. But there are aspects of quantum mechanics, like quantum entanglement and so on, which we might never be able to understand, because we humans have been brought up in a world of classical events. Usually, I mean, as we dropped from the trees, we found that the world was largely classical. So in the 20th century,
I don't think he really knows what he's saying himself.
When we drop from trees.
Really? I don't think he knows what he's saying. Says the flat earther.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, when we drop from the trees. People ask if evolution is true, why are there still monkeys? Why are there still apes? No, that's because the smart ones stayed in the trees where it's nice and relaxed, non-stressful.
No,
It's almost like he's trying to make...
The idiots came down and built houses and mortgages and rent and poverty, starvation, drought. That's what the smart ones did. Or that's what the dumb ones did.
Make a case that everybody's just dumb, full stop.
Yeah. It becomes an amalgamation of word salad of things and arguments he's used before. Mm-hmm. So it's just all coming to his mind and it's just like, bleh, excuse that.
So is there a point with Peter here? What makes him not dumb?
I don't know. It's
If
also,
I may ask?
we're still trying to figure out what's going on. Because he's not really, I mean, half an hour
You're still trying to figure out what's going on? Really? Okay.
chat, and he still hasn't really given an argument other than, no, you can't use God because I say so.
Right, yeah.
He hasn't really given a legitimate reason why.
So you think that's what he's been saying, Flatzoid? God damn, you're a dumb fuck.
You can't use God.
Yeah, and he's so dependent on this brain of his that derives from an accident.
Well, it's like he hasn't given a legitimate reason why we should believe him either.
No, he didn't say that his brain derived from an accident, you liar. You illiterate piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
First century that we've discovered the quantum behavior of this extraordinary kind. Now, it might well be that our brains simply are not equipped to understand the quantum phenomena that we are discovering. But we can still do the equations. We can still solve it to arbitrary precision. I think that means that we, in a sense, have understood the fabric of reality, let's put it that way, even though we can't intuit the fabric of reality because our brains are constructed classically and not quantum mechanically. So I agree that there may be limitations to our understanding, but they are understanding of that kind.
I have no difficulty with that because the one thing I would never say is...
So he has no difficulty with it, but you guys are triggered as fuck.
Quantum mechanics is extremely difficult. I don't understand quantum entanglement, therefore God did it. I would never...
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is no end to their quantum stuff either. Like outer space, it just goes forever. Same with quantum.
It goes,
I thought
yeah,
the atom was now we go down to that.
both directions. You know, from the big expansion to the quantum. You know, it's like a small universe, big universe, mental.
Yeah, now they say the electron's made of quarks in it, and then the quarks will be made out of something that it'll never end.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They always use like the God of Gaps argument at the end of the day. So everything.
We use God of the Gaps? No, we don't. No, we don't, Flatzoid. That's your purview.
If they can't explain it really, then they have to make up a new type of math for it. And that's why they're sitting with dark matter today. Because it goes totally, completely against their theory.
No, it doesn't. It's been incorporated into the theory. You're a dumb fuck, Flatzoid.
I mean, how can we have a massless object having things attracted to it? How's there a gravitational pull if there's no mass?
Right.
Yeah, they're trying to define this free space. Like as you go out of the atmosphere, past the Kármán line, what they call outer space, there's all this free space in between these gas molecules or whatever, and it keeps getting greater and greater, and they just call it black matter or something.
Dark
That's
matter.
what the free space is.
Yeah,
It's
dark
all the way dark matter. Then the dark matter must exist here on Earth, according to that stuff. So yeah, anyway, it don't make no sense. They're trying
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, does it? You know why? Because what you just said is fucking horseshit.
Just to say that this light gets blocked by
Hey, Stanley.
something and we don't know what it is, so it's got to be dark matter. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, that's not what dark matter does, dipshit. Listen to this dumb fuck. He actually thinks he's smarter than everybody.
according to that stuff. So yeah, anyway, it don't make no sense. They're
just-
trying to
Just to say that this light gets blocked by something and we don't know what it is, so it's got to be dark matter. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what anybody says, PJ. You stupid motherfucker.
Stupid. You don't know what it is, so we'll call it dark matter.
What the fuck? What has YouTube done? No one gets wrenches anymore? Everybody gets a shield? Is that a shield? Huh, that's weird.
Nice.
And well, and the postulation from Peter is he is
I mean, that's what I'm seeing here. Look at this. Shields. But on Streamlabs, it's showing wrenches. That's fucking strange. What is everybody else seeing?
insinuating that his belief-based evidence doesn't need belief.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what he's driving towards. And go ahead.
Dream of reacting like that because trying to understand quantum entanglement, that is the job of science, that is the job of physics, and you keep going, as you suggest, until you run out of brain power. You see, God answers a different kind of question which spurs science on, it doesn't inhibit it. But now, Peter,
No, God inhibits science, man. When you take the easy way out and just say, well, it must be God, then it's counter to science. Fuck
what
me.
are your questions to
I
you?
think this is very important, that science is a motivation. God is a motivation for science.
A
A
motivation.
motivation for science, and I think we ought to spend a moment on that. I think God is also a great motivation for art as well.
Yes.
Wonderful pictures, wonderful music, wonderful literature, all induced by belief in God. But it doesn't mean that the God actually exists. It simply means that you believe that he exists.
So I was going to say that the very book you wrote, the statement you used at the beginning is, I think, from Bacon, and who was, of course, a believer.
Well, they all were in those days.
So is that...
They all were in those days.
All right, just flipping it. They were all nothing to do with that. They really did believe, or whatever, you know. They just called themselves.
Well, you're saying that in a sense, whatever John says about the religious sort of faith of the pioneers of science, it was just the nature of things.
To them it was real, and indeed it did motivate their excellent work and inspiring work in some cases, and certainly in the humanities. But it doesn't mean to say it's true.
Of course not.
No, so you don't.
But what's the point you're making then if you're not saying that shows that it's true?
Yeah, I'm looking at other people's live streams and their shields as well.
The point is, it doesn't show it's false. And your little comment there was they all believed in God in those days is also false. Because it's very interesting when you think of the rise of modern science in Western Europe. I've mentioned that. But it was Richard Dawkins put this to me years ago in one of our debates.
Yeah.
And I made the point which I now make. Everybody
And he
didn't-
totally ripped Richard Dawkins apart, by the way.
This is where I know him from, man. Because when you said, no, I didn't recognize him. But when I heard his voice, I recognized the voice. It must be from when he spoke to Dawkins.
Yeah, and he ripped Dawkins apart.
No, well, I think anybody could. Dawkins just sounds intelligent, but when you listen to what he's saying...
Cultural
he's
Christian.
totally-
He was a cultural
And-
Christian.
and then he professes to know what the Old Testament and that says, and if you check what he says about it, it's crap. It doesn't say anything like that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Look, at the end of the day, all these atheists, even the PhD atheists and stuff, they have to kind of misrepresent things, and they have to pull at straws to make an argument.
Oh my God, you hypocritical dumb cunt.
Because they don't really have anything substantial. You know what I mean?
Didn't someone write a book called the Dawkins Delusion or the Dawkins Delusion or something? Or the God Delusion, didn't he? But
Yeah, Dawkins wrote God Delusion.
Yeah, the God Delusion. But
He
I think
wrote that.
someone
Mocked him. Yeah.
counteracted him and wrote a book against him called the Dawkins Delusion
Yeah.
or something like that.
believe in God in those days. The Chinese didn't. And there was very interesting research done by Joseph Needham in Cambridge. He was a brilliant sinologist, also a chemist, I believe. And he did research and wrote the huge volume, many volumes of the Dictionary of Technological Achievements in China. And he was very puzzled why abstract science of the kind we know did not arise in China. Now, he was a neo-Marxist, and he tried to explain this on the basis of his atheistic Marxism, but he couldn't. And in the end, he came to a fascinating conclusion. He said, in the end, the only difference I can see between the East and the West, they discovered technology, but not science in that sense, is that the East did not have the unifying concept of a single rational creator who created the universe to work in such.
Well,
Exactly.
well said.
Well, it doesn't mean to say that if you have that having the idea that there is one is not the same as there being one. So,
But Peter, that's obvious. The thing is, it doesn't make it false, but it's part of the cumulative evidence for explanatory power, because in most of these areas we're making inferences to the best explanation. And an explanation that makes sense to me, that is that the reason we can do science is the God who created the universe also stands behind the human mind. That makes much more sense than a reason that says we're simply the random product of unguided
I want to
processes.
talk about reasons, because you both...
Amen.
Right? It makes a lot more sense.
Why does that make more sense? Why does it make more sense that a magical being that nobody can see and prove is more valid than evolution? There's absolutely nothing.
Sense.
See,
You know?
he talks in a very logical way. That's what I liked about him.
That's it. That's it.
He takes what they say and then logically breaks it down how it's fallacious.
Mate.
We've brought this up, and explanations, different types of questions that we ask. Peter, you've said there are sort of nonsense questions that we simply shouldn't be asking because they're not the kind of questions we should be pursuing, like,
Why?
is there a purpose to the universe? John, from what I can tell, you believe those are valid questions because they are, even if they're of a different nature to the specific
Purpose
scientific
questions and intention questions are among the most important questions we can ask.
And I've had a question actually from the audience, which asks, I assume of you, Peter, isn't it a bit too convenient to label questions that science doesn't answer as stupid or not real?
Well, it's very sensible.
See, even the audience
it's
is
like-
asking about that.
Right.
Well, it's like by default, him not answering very important questions, by default says that his version of science can't explain everything.
Exactly.
There hasn't been a question that he hadn't answered.
And yet that's the position he's taking. Oh, yes, we can, but no, they can't.
But yet we ask you questions and you can't answer them. Isn't that weird?
Clear the way so that you can have a sensible conversation about real questions.
But why is the question of what are we here for not a real question in your view?
Because there's no evidence that there is any purpose in the universe. You've got to look for evidence. And as I actually did say right at the beginning, I think that the real questions are based on evidence. The silly questions, the fake questions, if you like, are based on
Fake
extrapolations of...
What's a fake question?
You see, the thing is, it doesn't matter what questions is going to be asked. He always moves the goalpost and then just claim, no, that doesn't work. Because his whole theology and worldview is based upon God is a waste of time. God is just a band-aid for all things that can't be answered. Without realizing he's being a hypocrite. Because that's
Big
exactly
time.
what he is implying with all his arguments.
And the things that science don't answer is irrelevant to him, which is silly.
Yeah, he just
His
throws it
version
away.
of science, which is not real science.
No, of course, of course.
And then he just throws it away.
So, he's not explaining anything by dismissing things. Not meaningfully, not provably.
human experience, if you like.
What a lazy
So
person. Sorry.
we have purposes. I have a purpose for coming here this evening, because I must confess I forget what it was.
So you believe in purpose but not ultimate purpose, is that it?
Well,
Not
I
weird.
believe that people have individual, temporary, ephemeral purposes. That's fine. But for there to be a purpose in the universe is an extrapolation of that attitude. There is no evidence that the universe has a purpose at all. So,
Oh, really? Can he explain how, just by chance, all this that we know of came into existence without having a purpose?
No.
Not at all.
I mean,
Yeah. Why does anything have to have a purpose? There's no evidence that God created anything.
What a cop-out.
yeah, I mean, can you see anything in observable reality that does not have a purpose?
If anything,
Every
Yeah, rocks. Rocks.
single thing
what
has
was-
a purpose. Even a virus.
Tits on a bull.
Even a virus has a purpose.
Absolutely.
everything we see and experience has purpose.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
he's like, oh no, there's no purpose.
So when he comes and he says you can't observe things like this, then that's just nonsense. Because he can't show one thing that we observe that doesn't have a purpose.
Correct.
Right. Right.
it's inappropriate for science to do a series of experiments to discover the purpose.
John.
Well, when you say there's no evidence, I would go back to the fact, and I must, in that sense, come back to my Christian faith. Christianity is not a mere philosophy. It's geared into history. And it seems to me that the whole initial explanation, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, that starts off a huge meta-narrative that gives human beings huge significance as made in the image of God.
Amen.
Now, that may be true.
He's just shaking his head. You see, he can't get over it. He can't get past that he's not going to be able to.
Well, that's it. The message. So the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. To those who are something saved is the power of God.
Only a fool says in his heart, there is no God.
Absolutely.
Who said that? Some religious dumb fuck? Who said that?
May be false, but does it make sense? It's not one of these nonsense things. It
Hey, Curious UK.
certainly makes a great deal of sense. And incidentally, some of the brightest minds in history have spent years thinking about these things.
I've just read through Anthony Kenner's Modern History of Western.
Yes.
Great 1,000-page.
Yeah, I know.
brick.
I've read it too.
900 of those pages show what a waste of time philosophy was when people were worrying about the nature of God and his or her
See, now it's just a waste of time because they were all philosophizing God. Now it's a waste of time.
Oh, my goodness.
What is philosophy? Just famous St. Augustine, Thomas Aquinas, you name them, completely wasted their lives by thinking about non-questions. It's only when...
But that's your belief.
You say they wasted their lives, though.
says-
You say they wasted their life.
Yeah, he just says.
You say that under your standards they wasted their life. Maybe not that standards, though, bro.
Yeah, so according to him, it's a waste. But that doesn't make it a waste.
No.
According to you, the Bible, the Earth's flat. That doesn't make it flat.
And also, if I may point out, it's like for me, Peter would probably call me like, "Oh, you're a cultural Christian" or something like that, because I went to Sunday school a few times a year, or you went to church, or Christmas or Easter, whatever. But the point is, I was also slammed with
Yeah, that would make you a cultural Christian.
atheism and Big Bangism and evolution for years, 12 years, in fact, 5 days a week.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. It was weird because I'd go to primary school and we'd do the Lord's Prayer. And then they'd start learning about cavemen and evolution.
Yep. 5 days a week, without fail.
Right.
And yet he'll still call me a cultural Christian while his atheism and disbelief was slamming me all the time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, well, for lack of a better word. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Was there a day that he wasn't a Christian? Did a week go by that he wasn't a Christian? No.
Dude, it's actually sad because I was hoping more from this debate. So I do apologize, guys, because at the moment the atheist is just literally just saying "nah" every single time. He's not.
No, he's not saying nuh-uh. Oh my God, how adorable.
giving anything of substance to this debate. And
I mean, I'm still waiting for the real question that he heralds to answer.
I don't think he will, because he's just answering every single thing exactly the same way, just wording it differently.
It's dismissal.
Yeah, he's just dismissing it plain out because he feels it's a waste of time. Then why is he there to debate?
Well, that's it.
And it's like, if you're so intellectual, stop basing things on your feelings, Mr. Atkins.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be basing everything on science. So
And he's not.
why is he basing it on his opinions?
He is basing everything on science. God damn, you're dumb. So fucking biased, man. So biased.
Yeah. I mean,
His philosophy, his belief-based philosophy,
Corner.
actually proves something.
And the fact is that because he can't answer any of these things shows his whole argument falls flat. There is nothing. It's the argument that science explains everything. Shown debunked. It cannot, because he's failing to answer simple questions.
I mean, if it wasn't for Professor John Lennox yourself, this would be a complete. It is.
So they just watch a video and lie about what the video says. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less.
One-sided debate, but if it wasn't for Professor Lennox, it'd be a one-sided conversation. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, but, there's no evidence for God. Is the basis of that's the core of my belief. That's what we're talking
No
about.
evidence for
But
God.
is that an assumption you're coming to it with?
No, let me say, there is no evidence for God. That is the rock on which I build my system of
Well, it's
explanation.
very unsteady.
Your-
He actually is quoting from the Bible.
Yes, isn't that mad?
Wait.
Isn't that mad that he's getting his parable kind of his metaphor from scripture?
I mean, did I hear him right? He said,
Getting from scripture, there is no God. That's scripture.
that not believing in God is the core of his belief.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's literally a belief system. I'm glad he realized.
No, what did he say? Core of his belief?
It'd be a one-sided conversation. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, but there's no evidence for God. Is the basis of that's the core of my belief. That's what we're
No
talking
evidence for
But
God.
is that an assumption?
Okay, the core of his belief in science. Yes. If you don't believe something, then it's meaningless to you. Now, blind faith, that's different than belief.
You're coming to it with.
Let me say, there is no evidence for God. That is the rock on which I build my system of
Well, it's
explanation.
very unsteady.
Your-
He actually is quoting from the Bible.
Yes, isn't that mad?
Wait.
Isn't that mad that he's getting his parable kind of his metaphor from scripture?
I mean, did I hear him right? He said that not believing in God is the core of his belief.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's literally a belief system. I'm glad he realizes that atheism is a religion then.
Or was it not you?
No, a belief system is not religious. It's not necessarily religious. Jesus, dumb fucks.
You can't prove God. You can't prove God. There's no proof of God is the core of his belief. think he was saying.
Well, it's like there's no proof of something coming from nothing. So it's like he has nothing to stand on. He never has.
I rewinded a few seconds back. Yeah.
But is that an assumption you're coming to it with?
Let me say, there is no evidence for God. That is the rock on which I
See,
built.
there's no evidence
my-
for God.
And that's the rock on which he built his.
Belief system.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
very unsteady
His
rock.
belief is based on there's no evidence for God.
And
His belief.
His belief.
Him, on the other hand, his religion is so extreme. He's just gonna just hand wave.
What?
Professor Lennox. It'd be a one-sided conversation. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, but there's no evidence for God. It's the basis. The system.
He said,
Actually,
Or what you saying?
I rewinded a few seconds back. Yeah.
But is that an assumption you're coming to it with?
Let me say, there is no evidence for God. That is the rock on which I
See,
built.
there's no evidence
my-
for God.
And that's the rock on which he built his.
Belief system.
So that's the stream. What happened? Was he having trouble too? Yeah.
he never has.
I rewinded a few seconds back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I guess he was having internet trouble too. So that's it. I saw something here. What happened? What the hell? That's strange. Huh. I saw a different video pop up. Here, when I clicked on here, what the hell? That's weird. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. It's the For You.
That was posted by Micah Ray. Micah Ray, you win the internet today for capturing that typo.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh.
That was.
You don't have your email address listed. So I pulled up his YouTube page and I showed. I went through his YouTube page. His email address is
He uploaded this. He uploaded this.
not on there. So what did he do? While I was reading his YouTube page, his about page there, he added his email address as if that's going to cover up the lie, right? That this weird definition of formal invite that he has contrived as some sort of a gotcha that, oh, I wasn't formally invited. Of course you were. Your email address wasn't available.
Well, McToon, just for interest's sake, you see, this was 2 years ago. This was the so-called debate between myself and you didn't understand perspective, and yet I'm still waiting for your Flask assignment to be done. It's been 2 years now. Anyway, 2 years. Let's go into that video quickly.
These tiny gifts.
Let's check what it says here. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, there we go. Flatswood@gmail.com.
Yeah, that changes it in all the videos when you change it on in your profile, dipshit. See, it gets changed in all your videos.
That's weird.
So if I let's see, how can I do this? I go manage. Let's see. I don't know how I can do it right now. Channel level settings. No, that isn't it. That's not it. Yeah, I believe if you change it in your profile settings, it gets changed retroactively for all your videos, Flatzoid. So yeah, you fucked up, you lied, and then you tried to make it like you didn't lie, but you did, Flatzoid. You did. It's sad. Anyway, that's all I got for you. And yeah, YouTube's being a shithead today. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later.